Welcome to the Connect Miami with author and life coach columnist Susie Moore, Down syndrome advocate and author Sandy Boudreau, lifestyle and wellness coach Tracy Campoli, and the hottest radio jock in Miami, Stitches. Pull up to our community where we collaborate, we cultivate, and we make magic. Let's go.
Happy Saturday, my loves, and welcome to the Connection Miami. As we enter the last quarter of 2020, I can't believe it, the last quarter of 2020, we don't want to just end the year. We want to go out strong and enter the new year very strong. So we're going to be speaking about how you just really tune into it and access that strength. But before we begin, how are my gorgeous co-hosts today?
Hola, mommies. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
We're missing one who will be back next week, the lovely Sandy B. She's not so well, but she'll be back with us soon.
So can I mention, though, I'm loving our island look. I don't know, what is this?
Yeah.
I like it.
It's not Miami look, we have to say, yes. You would know where we live, just like the little snapshot of this, for sure. So, right, nice.
You're welcome.
Now, you ladies know that being an entrepreneur requires vision, right? You have to see the opportunities that are out there. And a lot of the best entrepreneurs are simply opportunity spotters. It's what they do so well. So as we approach 2021, is there anything that you are willing to say goodbye to? Maybe any opportunities you are happy that passed you by, or anything that you're not looking to carry into the new year?
You going first, Tracy?
Sure. You know, I think going into, 2020 has been quite a year.
Yes.
I personally, like everyone, have learned a lot of lessons. And I feel like this year has been such a good opportunity of what really matters. You know, what do I really want to focus my attention and my energy on? And I personally have found that this year for me and inside of my business has been the year of there are no rules. You know, this year for me has been a great exercise of just tuning into myself and what do I want to do the most and really tuning out the noise. And so moving into 2021, I would like to actually develop that even further, to just really developing a greater sense of trust in myself, because I find that as an entrepreneur, it's so easy to think, oh, so-and-so's doing that, so I should do it too. Or, you know, this mentor, this person said I should do that, so I should just do it. But really checking in with what does my heart want to do and what feels the best for me. So that's what I would like to tune into more, and then let go of any of the untrusting or kind of following the path. I'm going to do my thing.
And I'm actually going to connect with that because, first off, if you made it through 2020, then God bless you. And that means you definitely still have work to do. So, i.e., we still have a lot of work to do. Good works, that is. But it's the same thing, Tracy. I believe this was the year that I really learned more because I do a lot, but everything has to make sense.
Yes.
And I have to be okay with saying no. And I've always been told that, my sister especially, and it got to the point even where my best friend, even my pastor was like, you're going to have to know how to say no. No. And people literally had to draw it out. No. Be content with your yes and be content with your no, because every no may not really be a no. It may be a yes for another opportunity.
Yes.
And I have to really be comfortable with that, because I always want to try to help. Well, maybe I can, maybe I can't. And it just got to a point where I was really hurting myself and saying yes all the time. And it's no, if it's not making sense, I'm not going to do it.
Absolutely, I'm in complete agreement with you. And I love what Warren Buffett said. He said, the difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to everything, or almost everything, because we know what matters, right? We have that intuitive guide. One thing that three questions I love to ask anybody as just a coach coming towards the end of the year, because this year has taught us a lot. I think even it hasn't sunk in yet. So much changed and what's different for us, but thinking, what do I want to keep, right? What new habit or what new, maybe it's saying no, right? The year of no rules. or being able to prioritize based on your own needs. What do I want to keep? What do I want to quit? Right? Because I think we have some unhealthy habits too that we may have picked up this year, a lot of us. Yeah. And then what do I want to add? Right? Because it's a great question to ask what's missing. And, what's missing? Is there something else that I need to be doing for my own happiness, joy, peace, rest, ambition, whatever it may be? Those 3 questions, if you just journal on them for like 1 minute each, it's amazing how the answers do arise. So
I like that. That's a big one though, that I think, that's so funny you said that. One of my best friend, actually, we were talking about that last night. It's like we're in a place and we're in the world where we lack genuine joy. Mm-hmm. It's like attached to things, we're attached to phones, we're attached to tangibles, but do we as a people really have joy and peace?
Great question.
I don't know. Yeah, that was deep. It's deep.
Yeah, great. And then also fun. I think fun is such a priority for my life. It's my number one priority actually to always be having fun, right? Which I think is the most responsible value to have. Like if it's not fun, right? If something's not,
why?
We're missing the point. And I feel like if I say this, everyone's shocked. They're like, no, accomplishment, achievement, hustle, fun.
Amen to that. If it's not fun, don't do it.
That's what we're gonna have.
Success doesn't, often we think like when we're successful, I'll be happy, right? But it's the other way around, right? Like success orbits happiness. Like when you're just emanating it, like when you're having a good time, I think you're such a magnet for marvelous things. So why limit it?
I love that. I love that to every fiber of my being. So let me ask you guys that. Is that how you measure your success? Like when you're reflecting back, is it like how much fun did I have?
I think that is the ultimate measure, because when you think about it, if you want anything, right, like a financial goal or a boat or a new, like you think it's because it'll bring you fun, right? You're like, this will be fun, or being with that man will be fun, or like whatever, really anything. And if you can just like have fun now, if you skip the requirement, then you're winning.
It's true, yeah. And I'm learning. I was talking about it earlier. I'm learning this thing. We call it fun check, where some of my friends, I'll check with them and be like, give me a fun check. I needed proof that you're having fun. Send me
I want to be added to that. I'll do a fun check, and I'll always reply, yes, I am. I'm having a good time. Even if I'm just napping, reading my book in bed. Mm-hmm.
Congratulations on your book too, FYI.
Thank you very much. I tell you, even in a tough year, there are blessings. So that's what I love to remember to appreciate. And I'm so thrilled to be connecting with you guys and entrepreneurs every Saturday as a Connect Show Miami brings the heat with some of the coolest, influential people, businesswomen here in South Florida.
Stop Checking Your Likes is the hottest must-read of the moment. This is not a book about social media. It's about shaking off that need for approval and living your incredible life. Available everywhere books are sold. Pull up, girl boss, and join the show. That's right. It's time for your 5 minutes of fame with the hosts of the Connect Show Miami. Register today at theconnectonline.com/Miami.
Welcome back to the Connect Show Miami. So many of us ladies, we know that we need to prioritize our mental health and well-being this year because there is so much going on. And even if you're a mentally healthy person, we can always improve, right? We can always improve our wellness. So how do you prioritize your mental health in election season with COVID and with everything going on? Not to mention juggling family priorities, relationships, etc. How do you take care of yourself?
Go for it, Stitches.
We want the truth, or we want what sounds good?
We want that truth. You can handle the truth.
Honestly, I'm really still learning, because it's like I mentioned before, it's like there's so much that happens in a day. I'll be on 3-4 Zooms on 1-2 device to where it's like, okay, this is too much. So I'm in the process of learning, but what I've gotten in tune with was taking a break to just honestly pray and to meditate, and that calms me down. And then I listen to a certain type of music and just really decompress, and then that will calm me down, and then, okay, I'm ready to go. But that's what I really encourage for anyone, because the world in general it can stress you out. And especially now, there's so much going on. I encourage anybody listening, if you don't already do it, just take a second, even if it's 5 minutes. Take a 5. That's what we'll call it. Take a 5. Take a 5. Take a 5. Just when we do this, that means take a 5. I'm doing. I take a 5.
I like it. We all deserve a minute, right? Like
Yeah.
Things like that. And I don't care how busy you are. Everyone is allowed a minute.
Thank you.
Totally.
5.
Yeah, 5 minutes. That's right. Tracy,
Or 5. Do your 5. Yeah, I mean, I definitely, quieting the noise is a huge thing. So especially in 2020, like being really, really conscious of what I consume and what I don't, what I'm letting in and what I'm not. So like turning off the TV, you know, not watching news like all day long. And I've had to create boundaries around that, even, you know, with my husband, because, you know, because of what he does, he has to be possibly a little bit more informed than me, you know, on a regular. And so I just had to, you know, lovingly put boundaries around that. And so that's been really helpful. But I often find for my mental health, it's, you know, it's probably no surprise, it's moving my body, but also getting in nature. You know, if I don't exercise and if I don't get outside, I am not a nice person to be around. And my brain does not think clearly. And it's simple, right? It doesn't have to be this huge process, but like, you know, even a 15-minute workout and like a 20-minute walk outside, that changes me into a new person. How about you, Suze?
Nice.
well, you know, I'm a little different actually. I feel as if like when it comes to wellness and being calm, it's not attaching any pressure to be well or calm. You know how sometimes I feel like even wellness can feel heavy. It's like, oh, am I doing my wellness? I'm having my bubble bath. Am I doing 15-minute guided meditation? I'm like, if it's going to bring me stress, then no. And because, look, I do prioritize having fun. I like to have a good time. You know, I do what feels good. I like to focus on pleasure just day to day in general. Eat what tastes good, enjoy myself, see my friends, laugh a lot. I feel like it keeps you young as well. You know, not taking it all so seriously. That's, I think, is my secret. Like when someone, I would always think, even in my corporate job, when everyone was so stressed out, why are you guys all so stressed out? Like everything's fine. Even if I remember, you know, sometimes like in an office you get like a Wi-Fi outage, and everyone would like lose their mind, and I'm like, we lost Wi-Fi for probably about 15 minutes. Like,
I just
each other.
Like, that's so refreshing, Susie. That is so refreshing to just, you know, not make it such a big deal, you know, and to say that is our natural and normal state. And I have, you know, like I will fully call myself out. I forget that a lot of the time. So thank you for that. So I think that's really important and powerful.
I remember I was listening to Oprah Winfrey interview Deepak Chopra, who I love, and she said, I've got to tell you, Deepak, you're very hard to book. You're in Asia, you're in Europe, you're da-da-da. And he's, you know, of course he's very busy, he's a very successful teacher, and he is very calm, right? And he says, Oprah, my body might be busy, but my mind is still. And I'm like, that's always it, right? And there can be two people with a crazy life, like kids, work, meetings, go. And they can do the same things, like the same motions, but one will bring in energy and one will bring in frantic energy. And I always know that I get to choose which one that is. Like the actions of the thing, I'm going to do it my way, and I'm going to have a good time.
So good.
How about that? Imagine just like peace begins with it, right? Choosing something else. I think it's great to know that it's available. And when I forget, I know, and it's a horrible feeling to be so stressed out. So there's always another way. There's always another option to remember. But more on shifting your power to change your life up coming up.
Are you ready to transform your body in just 30 minutes a day from your living room? I'm Tracy Campoli, the creator of Total Body Transformation, the excuse-proof fitness program made for busy babes like you and me to get fit, sweat, and smile. We've been featured on Good Morning America, The Today Show, and in USA Today. All you have to do is simply log in and press play. No boredom, no stress, and no dread. All in just 30 short minutes from the comfort of your own home. Go to tracycampoli.com to get started today.
Welcome back to the Connect Show Miami. Now, important question. Have you ever wanted to make a big change in life but didn't know where to begin? Damon John shares the answer in his newest book, Power Shift. I love that name. We're giving away a copy at the end of the show, so stay tuned to it.
Yes, and so all you have to do to win your very own copy is like, tag, or share the giveaway post on our Instagram at The Connect Show TV. Winners will be announced on Sunday. Yes.
Okay, so power shifting is a powerful concept, right, ladies? I mean, often we hear that people feel like they're not allowed to have power, or their power was taken away, or they lost their power somehow, or they feel that someone else is just simply in possession of it, right? We hear this all the time. How have you learned to use your personal power, to seize it, claim it, and use it day to day in your lives?
That's a good question. I guess the first question is identifying what power you know that you have and that you possess.
Yeah.
I think one that I'm grateful for, I thank God for, is a gift to bring, I don't want to say joy, but to kind of like encourage.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. To bring a vibe. There you go. Like to bring a vibe, I think. For example, I like to use that to make sure and ensure that people are okay, are enjoying themselves. Here's a perfect example. If I'm hosting a show, FYI, so don't be in the front if you're not ready to have a good time. I know I have that gift that I can, do my best to encourage you, so I'm pinpointing you. And my goal is to make sure that you leave having a good time and enjoying, and at least saying that you're glad you came out. So I guess that's one way that I use my powers to try to help other people if I can.
Oh, yes. That's one of our most powerful, right? When we can influence others.
Yeah.
For the highest good of everybody. Like for the highest good of everybody involved. What about you, Tracy?
So it's funny that we're talking about this because I just did a training about this literally yesterday. And it was so interesting because what I found, the actual definition of power is influencing others, right? And I think especially as women, correct me if I'm wrong, like we can all have a conversation here, but I think as women, a lot of us tend to give our power away, give the power to other people, right? And so what I was sharing with my students yesterday was, our power it's innate, just like we were saying earlier, like your joy is innate, your power, your personal power is inside of you. And especially as women, and we all have it, we all have masculine and feminine energy. Feminine power is that energy of receiving, being open, listening to your intuition, kind of that more, juicy, that juicy power, right? Whereas male power and male energy, it's more the actions, taking action, doing. You got to have both, no matter what gender you are. You do need to have both, but I think it's a really beautiful reminder, especially as women, that part of our power is taking that quiet space, listening to our intuition, and being able to receive and be flexible. So,
Power, the way that I think about it is not questioning, justifying, or defending myself, right? When I think about how perfect the universe is, right? Like we're all here. We all have a different face. We all have different fingerprints. We all have these like unique one-time own. We didn't come off a factory line, right? Like we are these individual humans, and it's human life is miraculous. I mean, when you even just think about how your parents met, how their parents met, to be alive now, like I'm not going to question that. Like, I'm not going to question nature's intelligence. I'm not going to question my worthiness. Of course, I have my faith. I'm not going to start defending that it's okay that I'm here. that it's okay that I, take up a position in this world. I just know that that's true for me and for everybody else. And so power is just something we have, right? And we either know it or we don't. We either allow it in or we forget it. And when you just don't question your worthiness, it's funny how no one really questions you because you're not questioning you. And it's not something that's angry or combative or dominant. It's quiet. It's quiet. It's nice. And I think it's quite lovely because we need real life role models of people who are okay to be themselves, right? And to show up and to be authentic. And when we do that, that's a gift to other people because I think that we give them permission then and to show up and to not be perfect.
Do you ladies ever remember an instance or a situation where you feel like your power was you actively gave it away or that it was kind of stripped from you, for lack of better words?
Oh, yes.
Handle it. Better yet. How did you handle it?
Oh, yes. I was so sick of myself. You know what? It's good when you're sick of yourself because this word enough. I love this word enough. When we say it to ourselves, right, often you'll see like someone with change can happen in an instant when you're like enough. And in my first marriage, I was married to an addict. And I was like, he's doing this to me. He's doing this to me. He's spending all of our money. And I'm like, who's keeping me chained to this man? Who's keeping me? And I'm not criticizing him, right? He's on his own path. So I was not perfect, right? Heck no, right? But I know that like my power was just completely like, oh, look what's happening to me. Look what's happening to me. Poor me. Everyone give me sympathy. And I'm like, this is not how it's supposed to feel. And this is not how God wants me to live. Mm-hmm. And so that is a horrible feeling. But this word enough, there comes a point, right? This is why it's great when there's such discomfort because we can all live with a little discomfort, right? It's like if we have like a mild headache, we'll just let it be. But if we have like a pounding migraine, we'll do something, right? We'll help ourselves. So when we suffer, it's good, right? Because that makes us move. And so that was when I was giving my power away as an adult. And I'm like, no. And hey, like second husband.
But it's so true. It's like the danger zone, I think, is being in that like things are kind of okay. And unfortunately, a lot of people live in that like things are kind of just okay. Like it's not great. It's not the worst. And I love what you said, Susie. It's so good. Like when we have that major contrast of like, I am incredibly uncomfortable right now and like no more. In Italian and in Spanish, it's the same. We say basta, no mas, like I'm done, drawing the line in the sand. And that's when people change in an instant. Like for a lot of women that I work with, it's like the health scare, right? You get something really horrible happening, but it's like that was probably about 10 years leading up to it. Don't wait for the health scare. Don't wait for the diagnosis. Start making the changes now. But to answer your question, Stitches, oh yes, much like Susie, there were certainly times when I was so sick of myself, so in my victimhood. And I'm really grateful that I went through those times in my life because I wouldn't have created the life that I created now because I was like, okay, no more. I will never do that again. I will never live like that again. I will never be like, here you go, to my power ever again.
One thing that I'll add to that too, like you said, Tracy, is the health scare, right? That's like the dramatic final move. But often we have all the signs. You know how like there's a red, yellow, green light? Like the yellow light, we have so many signals all the time. I remember coaching this one woman once and she was like, my kid's taking drugs. This came out of nowhere. And I'm like, did it come out of nowhere? Like, let's just be honest because when we're honest, we can do something, Yeah. And she's like, well, he was getting bad grades. His moods were up and down. So it's like, we don't need to get that red light, like stop, something's really wrong. We can pay attention if we're willing to be honest, right? And we're like, look at you're slowly gaining weight, right? Or your arguments are worsening over time. Or you realize, that one cigarette I smoke maybe once a month, it's now every day. Like, we need to be honest.
I think that's a big thing for us health-wise because I think we're I don't know if we're built like that, but most women, if not all, it's like we're always on the go or we're multitaskers. Like this is really what we do. We juggle more than one thing. And I think a breaking point for me health-wise, like you said, there were warning signs and I wasn't sleeping. I found out in college that 3 hours of sleep was not normal and was not regular. And that's what I was doing for I was getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep. I was going to work. I was waking up, going to school, 6 a.m. I had to wake up, drive, and at night hosting of it. So that was life. And then I found out it was 8 hours of sleep that you needed. And that's when my body caught up with my brain, and it just got to a point where my body shut down. So like you said, it's like there's warnings and there's signs where you'll get headaches, you'll get migraines, and your body's not moving the same way. And if you're getting that feeling to sit down, baby. Just
and the body is so intelligent too, right?
Yeah.
Like it tells you, it's like, hey, this hurt, this doesn't feel quite right. I mean, and spiritually too, we get that intuition. We're like, you know what? I know this person really wants that thing from me, but I'm exhausted. And so your body's telling you, you're feeling it like, no, I want to say no, like you're saying, Stitches, right? The no, the magical no.
No.
I'm a soldier. It's like, mm-mm.
Yeah.
And your body, either you pay now or you pay later, right? Like,
Right.
So true. And we have to be willing to listen to it.
Yeah.
We have to be willing to listen to it. Like, things don't just like 1 minute to the next. It's the same, what we were saying about power. You're getting those intuitive hits, those whispers of the soul. Are you willing to listen to them? Or are you just like, no.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Listen, God will show you. Listen. Just pay attention to the signs. God will show you, okay? I'm done.
God will show. And that's the thing, like truly just being, and then it just takes a little bit of courage, right? Because changing can feel like it's scary and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I mean, truly, this pay now, pay later. So you didn't tell me that, pay now, pay later. The lady who does my dog grooming, she's like, should we do her teeth? And I'm like, she really hates it. And I'm like, next time. She's like, you pay now or you pay later. And I'm like, that is life. That is life right there. Thank you, dog grooming lady.
That's amazing.
You pay now or you pay later. So that's so I would just rather pay now. Pay now and have a lovely future. And then also know that too, life isn't all just like always perfect, right? So we can do hard things, right? In the short term, we can make changes, we can shift if we need to. We're flexible. We're strong, flexible beings.
This is such a good point, and I love being with all of you today and everybody that's with us today. These conversations are so powerful and so necessary. So if you're enjoying our conversation today, we definitely want to make sure that you join us and our membership today at theconnectonline.com.
And to win your copy of Daymond John's book, Power Shift, follow us on Instagram at The Connect Show TV to win that juicy copy. And we'll see you next week on The Connect Show Miami.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. We need our dance. What was our dance? Oh, our shimmy.
Miami.
Miami pineapples and flowers.
I know, I felt like oranges.
Welcome to the Connect Network, where we bring you girl bosses month after month after month at our masterminds. If you are ready to expand your circle, join the Connect Network's membership today.